So this YouTube channel has a lot of new visitors recently, and I'm really glad to see that. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below. Although, just maybe wait till the end of the post and I'll remind you again. Because I don't want to be fooling anybody into being a part of a community with me if the fit isn't right either, you know? So I figured I'd give you a little dose of who I really am, like right down to the core. And if you don't like that for any reason and are actually racist, whether you call yourself that or not, just jog on. Simple. So first off, I use a lot of sweary words, and you'll see that through my entire YouTube channel and on my blog and in my books and all the other stuff that I'm doing. In my classes that I teach every month, everywhere, I swear, I curse, right? I mean, this to the point that my son, who's 12, nearly 13, that's important, got a bit scandalized a while back when he heard me chatting with Eilish on a Your Irish Connection interview. So you can check them out on the rest of the YouTube channel, because I was cursing. And he was like, "That's not very professional, Mom." And he said a different voice, but you know, in my head it was this stuffy. Anyway, says he, but it is what it is. Okay, so I just thought I'd give you a fair warning on that. Now, second off, it's not just my personal belief and lived experience that all people are equal and deserve the same human rights and safe community and care. It's a fundamental part of the Irish experience. So there's a lot of bullshit floating around in European heritage communities, pagan communities, that's basically, you know, sometimes dog whistling, sometimes under the radar, but sometimes very overtly. Like, I'm looking at you, Carolyn Emmerich, mega shitehawk and peddler of appropriative racist codswallop. Sometimes we get very overt white supremacy, fascism, and neo-Nazi nonsense, which has no place in Irish paganism. So that's not who the Irish are or ever were. Look, we're not perfect, okay? Modern Ireland can be really ignorant at times, and our lack of exposure to other cultures can be painfully obvious in the unthinking attitudes and beliefs of the people. But as a nation, we truly, genuinely care for our fellow people all over the globe. We're ranked the 9th most generous country in the world, and given the economic even climate of the last few years, that's pretty fucking cool, okay? But it goes back further than modern charitable donations. Even back to a time when we were on the brink of another famine, severely under the thumb of English rule and suffering. And, you know, my people have suffered. But we were still aware and working to support the civil rights movement in America. And, you know, a lot of us still do. So consider this quote from Daniel O'Connell in 1843. "How can the generous, the charitable, the humane, and the noble emotions of the Irish heart have become extinct amongst you? How can your nature be so totally changed as that you should become the apologists and the advocates of the execrable system which makes man the property of his fellow man, destroys the foundation of all moral and social virtues, condemns to ignorance and immorality millions of our fellow creatures? It was not in Ireland that you learned this cruelty. Over the broad Atlantic I pour forth my voice, saying, come out of such a land, you Irish men and women. Or if you remain and dare continue to countenance the system of slavery that is supported there, we will recognize you as Irish no longer." Irish people have always held kinship with the minorities, the downtrodden, the immigrants, the unwanted, the pillaged, the ethnically cleansed. We have been them, and our hearts remember. Our warrior spirit fights alongside those who need our support. Now, I don't want to get into any of this, the Irish were slaves too, because that's bullshit. And if you have any doubts about that, just Google the work of Limerick historian Liam Hogan, and I'll put some links down below so you can follow along with that. Educate your damn selves, please. But I really, really don't feel that there's any place in Irish paganism or in Irish society, because it's not just our pagan communities, but we have immigrants coming in and refugees, and we have direct provision going on at all. So, like, there's a lot of work to do here. But to all you people who are over in the United States and you are very, very proud of your Irish ancestry, you need to wake the fuck up. If you think for 1 second that your Irish ancestry would countenance the racism, the systematic, endemic racism that is in your country, that is not the Irish way. So, if you are comfortable and happy with my strongly held points of view, then why don't you hit subscribe down below. Subscribe to my newsletter if you would like to, where I send out Irish resources every single week. So you'll get a lot of free content and genuine, authentically Irish connection. So slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.